On the corner of 8th Avenue and Maple Street sat Marcus's store, a small but bustling shop known simply as Marcus's Market. Its bright green awning and neatly painted sign had become a fixture in the community. The store wasn't just a place to buy groceries or essentials, it was a gathering spot, a safe haven for neighbors who knew each other by name. Children laughed as they ran in to buy candy, and elders found comfort in Marcus's warm smile and kind words. Marcus, the owner, was the heart of it all. A tall black man in his early 40s, he carried himself with quiet confidence. Every morning, he unlocked the doors with a sense of purpose, greeting early customers with a genuine, "How's the family doing?" The community admired him deeply. Marcus wasn't just a businessman, he was a lifeline. He hired local teens who struggled to find jobs, giving them their first shot at responsibility. He donated to school fundraisers and made sure no one went hungry, even if they couldn't pay. To the locals, Marcus was more than a shopkeeper. He was a role model. But beyond this tight-knit community, Marcus was often underestimated, a fact that would soon lead to a shocking encounter. It was a quiet morning, the kind Marcus cherished. He had just finished stocking the shelves when the front door slammed open with a force that echoed through the store. A squad of police officers in full gear stormed in, barking orders. "Hands where we can see them," one officer shouted, his voice cutting through the startled silence. Marcus froze for a moment, startled but not panicked. His calm eyes met the officer's glare as he raised his hands slowly. "This is my store," he said firmly, but without defiance. "Whatever you're looking for, you won't find trouble here." Outside, the commotion drew a crowd. Customers and neighbors spilled onto the sidewalk, their faces a mix of confusion and alarm. Some whispered to each other, trying to make sense of the scene, while others filmed on their phones, their disbelief growing. Inside, the officers moved methodically but aggressively, flipping over boxes, emptying drawers, and scattering goods across the floor. Despite the destruction, Marcus stayed composed, answering their questions politely and offering no resistance. "Just doing my job," he told himself, though a heavy ache settled in his chest. He knew this wasn't just about the law, it was about assumptions. And he was determined to rise above them. The officer's tone grew sharper as the search continued, their questions laced with thinly veiled accusations. "How long have you been running this place?" one asked, as if the shelves of neatly arranged goods could somehow hide a darker truth. Another officer muttered something about cover operations, eyeing Marcus with a suspicious glare. Marcus, standing near the counter with his hands still raised slightly, didn't flinch. "I've been here for 8 years, he said evenly, "serving my community and paying my taxes. If you're looking for something specific, I suggest you focus on that." His calm demeanor seemed to irritate them further. Drawers were yanked open and dumped out. Shelves were swept clean, sending cans and boxes clattering to the floor. The officers flipped chairs and ripped open sealed cartons, their search turning increasingly destructive. The noise echoed outside where the growing crowd looked on in disbelief. Children who had just laughed in Marcus's shop now clung to their parents, their wide eyes filled with fear. Inside, Marcus clenched his jaw but remained composed. He refused to feed into their assumptions, knowing full well that his silence and dignity were his greatest strength. Still, a storm was brewing in his heart, one he wouldn't unleash, not yet. Amid the chaos, one of the officers rifling through a drawer paused, holding up a worn leather wallet. He opened it casually, expecting perhaps a few crumpled bills or an ID confirming Marcus as the shop owner. Instead, his eyes widened as he pulled out an identification card. The bold letters read, "State Senator Marcus Johnson." The realization hit him like a brick wall. Chief," he stammered, handing the wallet to his superior. The lead officer's face drained of color as he read the card, flipping it over for confirmation. A murmur of disbelief spread through the squad. The once commanding voices softened, replaced by awkward shuffling and whispered conversations. "This is a mistake," one officer mumbled, barely audible. Outside, the crowd sensed the shift. Someone yelled, "What's going on in there?" Another passerby, hearing whispers about Marcus's identity, repeated it louder. "He's a state senator." The revelation spread like wildfire, fueling outrage among the gathered neighbors. "How could they not know?" one woman asked angrily. They had no right to storm in like this. Inside, the officers' demeanor changed completely. Their authority crumbled into nervous apologies, but Marcus stood still, his face a mix of calm and quiet fury. Marcus picked up his wallet from the counter where the lead officer had set it, brushing off dust with slow, deliberate movements. His calmness carried a weight that silenced the remaining noise in the room. He looked directly at the lead officer, his voice steady but firm. "Do you know what it feels like to have your hard work, your dignity, ripped apart in moments because of assumptions?" he asked, his words slicing through the tension. "You came in here like I was a criminal, like this store, a lifeline to this community, was some kind of front. And for what? Based on what evidence?" The lead officer stammered, searching for words. We had a tip, sir. It wasn't personal." Not personal?" His tone sharp, controlled. "It's personal when my community sees me humiliated in my own store. It's personal when my character is reduced to a stereotype. Do better." The officers fumbled through apologies, their earlier confidence replaced by visible embarrassment. Outside, the crowd erupted. "This is unacceptable," shouted a neighbor. "Marcus has done more for this community than you ever will." The murmurs of support grew louder, people voicing their anger and solidarity. Marcus didn't need to raise his voice, the community did it for him. The news of the raid spread like wildfire. Within hours, local reporters arrived, capturing footage of the damaged store and interviewing outraged community members. "This wasn't just a mistake," one woman said to the camera. "It's racial profiling, plain and simple." Social media amplified the story, with headlines like, "State Senator's Store Raided in Shocking Case of Racial Bias." Marcus could have pursued legal action against the police department, and many urged him to do so. But true to his character, he chose a different path. Standing on the steps of City Hall, he addressed a crowd of supporters and journalists. "This isn't just about me," he began. "This is about a system that allows assumptions to replace facts and suspicion to override respect. I'm calling for police reform, better training, and most importantly, open dialogue between law enforcement and the communities they serve." His words struck a chord, sparking discussions across the city. Meanwhile, back at the shop, Marcus's neighbors rallied around him. Volunteers swept up broken glass, restocked shelves, and repaired what they could. "This store represents us," one teenager said as he hammered a broken shelf back into place, "and we won't let anyone tear it down." In the end, the incident strengthened the community's bond and ignited a movement for change. As the sun set over the neighborhood, Marcus stood outside his store, looking at the repaired sign and freshly cleaned windows. The shop wasn't just a place of business, it was a symbol of resilience, not just his own, but that of the entire community. He thought back to the raid, the assumptions, and the humiliation. Yet, instead of bitterness, he felt a cautious hope. The incident had been a painful reminder of the prejudices still lingering in society, but it also revealed something powerful: the strength of a united community and the potential for change when people stand together. Inside, shelves were once again neatly stocked, thanks to the countless hands that had come to help. Outside, neighbors lingered, chatting and laughing, their bond stronger than ever. Marcus stepped up to address them, his voice steady and warm. "This shop isn't just mine," he said. "It belongs to all of us. What happened here was wrong, but we've turned it into something powerful. A reminder that we are stronger when we stand together. Let's keep pushing for justice, for respect, and for understanding." The crowd erupted in applause, their faces glowing with pride. Marcus smiled. This wasn't just a store. It was hope, standing tall against prejudice. Thank you for watching this powerful story. If this message of hope, resilience, and justice resonated with you, we'd love your support. Comment below with your thoughts. What would you have done in Marcus's shoes? Like this video if you believe in standing up against injustice and building stronger communities. Share it with your friends and family to spread awareness and inspire others. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to never miss more stories like this. Together, we can create a positive impact. Your engagement helps us bring more meaningful stories to life. Let's grow this community of changemakers.